Let's start converting our code and project into a multi-project structure. Hello everyone, this is Ali Reza. Welcome to the Mentor Code Lab. In previous episode, we talked about a general overview of how to dissect our mod into many different structure-based project systems. In this video, we will talk about the very first one that is our base. And doing it will help us identify some things that we can do in future for the future projects. So if you want to break your mod, I suggest work on one sub-project with no additional class, just the bare minimum. Make sure that everything works and then start working on other parts. For example, if you take a note under Ultra IO folder, I have this Ultra IO base. However, I added two other folders, one for build and one for build SRC for source. My goal here is that when I build my modular projects, they will build their jars inside the build and they will put their source.jar into the build SRC. Let's see if we can manage it or not. To make things work, I need to open this folder inside IntelliJ IDEA. From any other project, if you have it open, you can use open command and just find this Ultra IO that we just made, choose the top folder and hit open. If you don't have any project open and you run IntelliJ IDEA and you can select the folder just then, it's the same thing. Use the Ultra IO, not the base, Ultra IO and hit OK. It will try to import the project. However, there are some things here. First of all, you notice that in this project, we don't have any Gradle right now. Second of all, it is saying that I found this Ultra IO base as a Gradle project. Do you want to load it? Hit the load. And still nothing is showing up because the build is trying to build that project for you. And it's just like opening any mod for the first time inside the structure. So it will go figure the configurations, figure the dependencies and anything else. And if you notice, I just added everything that I had on Ultra IO here. I commented out the publishing and I added the process resources. My jars are being named properly. Of course, it's not being found yet. And I have mixins and my source is having the temp folder structure with client datagen main and a reference that extending gereference class, a class from my library. And basically, I just set everything up before opening it inside IntelliJ IDEA using Notepad or any other text editing program, and it should work. And everything is using project or the values directly from Gradle.settings. Now, the settings.gradle is just the thing that is provided by the temp generator, nothing else. So I have to wait and let this project work its magic and get ready, and then we can continue on with the build.gradle. My aim here is to add a way of having my source and build being directed toward other places. When it's done and the Gradle is ready, I will come back. Our build.gradle was synced, but between the pause, I added some things to it and resynced it. Now, let me explain what has happened. When we have a project like this, we will have at least 2, 3, maybe 5 or 10 different projects that will create jar files for us. And some of these projects need these jar files to depend on. Basically, I'm trying to depend on a local file instead of needing to publish it to Modrint before being able to move forward. This will remove the disadvantage that we talked about in the previous video. To be able to have every jar file in a centralized position, I have to add some code into the provided build.gradle so that we move our final jars from the build /libs sitting under our project to a top level build and the source to a top level source. And then I want to get rid of that build folder in the sub project because from that point forward, we don't need it anymore. Or if you want to, you can keep it because we have a clean task to do that. So I had to create few different tasks inside Gradle. The first task, it says copy main jar to, and from build /libs, we include the project name /project version.jar. This will become Ultra IO underline base /1.0.0 plus MC-1.21.4, something like that, .jar, and exclude anything that has the source name. Actually, I can remove this second part right now, but I will keep it there. And we say into the /build. It means that from this folder, the // means go from build under the Ultra base, go one level up into Ultra IO, then find this folder and move what I want into here and print something in the console. Then I have another task that says copy the source to. It's similar to the top one, but it only has this dash source at the end and don't have any exclude. And it says says move to the source and again print something, and then the delete build dir. The delete build dir is deleting the build and will comment it. Finally, I have to set order of operations, because if I don't do it, chances are that the delete build dir will happen before moving. So I'm deleting the build directory before moving anything out of it. So I have to make sure that things happen in the order that I want. I want to move the main file first. So I say copy main jar2 must run after the build. Then I say the source must run after the main. And finally, delete build must run after these two. Finally, I will add these tasks to the finalize by structure for the build. Basically, I'm saying when you are running the build task, you should finalize this task with these three. And because I set the order of operation, they will happen in order. And finally, when I build my structure, if you want to see, I will have two different files inside build and build source. And as you see, it says attempting to do that. And here we go. I have the build here, build source here, and no build directory under my Ultra IO base. You may want to keep it if you want to, but I have no idea why someone may need it. If you know what you're doing, you can just comment this task and comment this section and comment this one, and that would be working. However, now here is another thing. When you run this clean task, it will remove that build subfolder for you, but it will not touch these files under the builds and build source. So I added some parts to the clean task. I'm saying that when I'm running clean, inside the build, find this project and only this version, means this one, the project and the version, and delete it. Do the same thing for the build.source. So if I run the clean now, the clean will attempt to delete the build directory. We had done it already, but as you see, it will remove these two files from our sub project. Now that I have this build.gradle, it's a finished product that I can copy it into another sub project, as we will see in other episodes. However, I want to make sure that this clean structure will be reserved somewhere on my hard drive. So I will open this inside Explorer. I will move it to the second monitor so that you don't see my other stuff. And here I will make a snippets folder under sub project, and I will delete the previous one that I had. Now I need to again open it inside Explorer, and I will take this Ultra IO base, copy it inside a temporary folder. As you see, it's on Fabric projects, mine, a snippet, sub projects. I will never ever open it inside IntelliJ IDEA. I just want to have an empty project as a temp file here right now. And that's it, basically. We need to move things from our mod into here. So let's take this one and make it pinned on the desktop, like so. If you don't have this program, search for pin desktop, and it's a little utility program. It's a nice one because if I right click or click on the project below, as you see, I'm selecting text there. This is not going anywhere. So I can close all the tabs, move it to the side, because I'm not gonna work on Gradle or anything else. All I want is this part right now. Okay, we know that for the base, we have to figure out what to add here. And I will do it for the base and only one other project, because honestly, after that, things will be repetitive. And I will come back and tell you what had happened in the final product at the end of these few mini episodes. So right now, we made the decision that almost all of the game scenarios, except one, will need OR generation side by side the base item and ingredient providing. However, I'm debating if I want to make the tags a separate mod of itself. I really don't know. This one is a little bit tempting because I don't know. Some mod pack developer may want to have flexibility of working with my tags without using the base, and that would be something new. But we will come back to that later. So let's assume that we want to have the tags and everything here. So under this base, I need to have you like this. Under this base, I have to add my references from the original mod. And here I have lots of things. However, now we need to dissect things. If we can't, then we are doomed. After the constructor, or even before that, doesn't matter, we want to add things things. Now, these are related to item groups. I will add them inside the base. I want every item group in here. And yes, you are in the way. You will be in the way anyway. Okay, the second part is about tools like tuner, tooltip, teleporter, hammer, excavator, and these are tooltips. This is for another project called our tools subproject. So I'm not going to add it here. Then we have commands. Again, these are for the command subproject, and here are our tags. So I will copy them, and don't forget, this is not my temp mod, so I shouldn't do the cut here. Okay, this is our tag. So I will copy it and I will paste it down here. Then I have these tags, copy, paste them there, copy, paste. So you will do lots of copy pasting. However, this is a very good time to review what you are doing. For example, here, I'm making item tags for everything that I think is usable, like gem. However, I'm not making item tags for ruby gem, sapphire gem, and citrine gem. And I will take it and move it up. Why am I doing it? Because someone may want to add the ability to create some recipes based on my tags in his mod, or in some version, I make the decision that instead of directly using my items, I may want to cover tags. And we will cover that in another video later down the road whenever I have the time. But right now, most pressing matters are the base knowledge. So let's see, smeltable is good. Then we have the repairs for the armors and tools and that. Okay, you may notice something. In our, let me take it to the second monitor. In our main base, basically we are referencing this as our Ultra IO base mod ID. However, I want to have a main mod ID that is Ultra IO. For the base reference, everything that I'm adding in the base is actually for every mod. So I will use main mod ID here for the reference, but I will keep the logger as the Ultra base. And that's it. I will keep the second project on the second monitor because honestly it's in the way. After having the item tags, I want to add the entity tags. And after that, we have this configuration keys, and this is for any configuration file. And right now, I don't want to add the config to the base because, for example, this is related to commands. We have a separate submodule for commands. These are tools. We have a submodule for tools. So why should I add them here? And other than this stupid problem here, we have nothing else to do with the reference. Honestly, this is bothering me. I will come back later in a few seconds. Let me pause the video. Okay, as a reminder, if you ever encountered something like this that says string is not found, take note, there is this setup SDK. Click it, use the correct version of Java, and that's it. We are golden to move forward. Now that we have our reference being set to the Ultra IO, here is a question. Do I want everything from the base to sit under Ultra IO? For example, the items, then the blocks and recipes. Well, no. My tags are different. Tags are just something that any data pack user or developer may want to tweak. It's nice to have them under Ultra IO, but other things like recipes, I want to keep them under Ultra IO base, and for that I need to have my items and blocks sitting under Ultra IO base. The reason is that when you are dissecting your mod like this, you can't rely on the previous thought process that you had for your mod. For example, in previous brainstorming mod, I think I told you that I want to sit close to Ender IO, but like vanilla way of doing things, and with a taste of, I totally forgot the name of the mod that added a smeltery and was a smelting things. Anyway, something between three different ways of handling a game. And because of that, I have some machines, but the machines are not so advanced right now. When you want to dissect your mod, now you have to think differently. For example, someone may not want to have those machines. Then you have to provide another way for the guy to have the base items and ingredients and everything else. So we have to think about it later down the road when we are finalizing our mod. But right now, let's just move forward. So inside our main and our initialize all, we have to think what we want to move here. Well, we have to move some items here. So I will say base items.init. Right now, I don't have the class, I don't have the method, that's okay. Then I will have base blocks.init. So I have some blocks, and whenever you have blocks, you have block items.init. After that, I want base item groups.init. And here I will add some item groups. So I don't want the armor material or tool material. For events, yes, I have some events. So base events.init, because our Enderman will have the loot drop table change regardless of any other part of the mod. And data components, well, data components was used inside the tools, tuner tools actually. I will keep it there. Other than that, we have recipes, but this is the custom recipes for block entities. We don't have any block entities here. So we don't have any screen renderers. We have some word generation. So I will call it or word generation because I want to make sure that I'm separating the dedicated stuff from the base. Actually, let's be consistent. Base word generation, and we don't have portals, we don't have strippables, we don't have attributes or compostables right now, but we have some fuel. So we say base fuel.init. We don't have oxidizable right now. We don't have any trades, no commands, no messages, and nothing to add to a blacklist. So that's our main. At least now we know what we are working on the main level. Now the datagen, of course I have to change things, but before doing anything else, I will change this part to base. And now I have to make the decision on what parts of datagen I need. Of course, I need the tags. Then I have some blocks. So I have loot tables and models. I will have a recipe. I will need the word generation and yes, the language provider. So I need everything. The client side is changing the rendering for our doors, trapdoors, and one machine. And none of that is happening here. So I just have a log file there. And the main is correct. Now, let's create these. I can wait here and say create roll call or more actions and create class, inner class. I can do that. However, if you create a class, it will ask where you want to put it. And thankfully, we can say dot registry and we say create. So it will create it there. That's one thing that I want to do again. So again, more actions, create the class inside dot registry, create more actions, create the class inside dot registry, more actions, create the class, choose the dot registry now and create and continue forward until you finish everything inside this one. Now we have another problem. We don't have init. This is easy. Just hit alt enter or even move your mouse and create method. It will create a public static void init and that's all we need. So we just do that for every one of them again. Okay, so far so good. Now we have to add the datagen, but we will do it later. We don't have anything else to do with the reference. I will close that one. We don't have anything else to do with the main base, but I will keep this line copy. I will close it. Now under the base item, I know that I need it. So I will say main base dot mod ID. Of course, I could import a static reference, but I want to avoid it because now I can just copy paste it everywhere without being worried about references. Now block items is the last one because item groups are not using our registers helper. Events I don't think is using it. Wordgen and fuel are not using it. We will take a look at them later. So mod items. The very first thing we need to add here is a constructor that throws new assertion error. And here we can provide a message. For the message, I can do something different. For example, I can say this class should not be instantiated. Something like that. This is a message that will tell the user that he had done something wrong. So I will just copy this one. I have to add it actually to every class. So just add the constructor and paste it. That's that. Now we can move forward with adding our items. For the base items, what I want is every ingredient and gems, basically anything that is not related to armor or tools and is generally used in every other place. So I will just copy paste the whole class and we will see what we need and we will remove what we don't need. Okay, gems, yes, we want them. Raw for the gems and the quartz, we want them. The casts, the crushed and dust, gears and ingots, the plate, reinforced, rod, heads, that's okay. Then these are the miscellaneous ingredients, some food, and this is not a slot enabled. I want to change the name here. Need, let me think. Yeah, need signal. The armors are not here. These are tools, these are tools, these are tools, and these are tools. The backpack item is tool, blueprint, ender backpack, tuners, teleporter, chalice, and wrench. So now we know what we don't need to copy. And after the initializing, finally we can start with adding whatever we want. For example, yes, we don't have a slot enabled because we changed the name to need signal. That's one. And again, need signal. Okay, the gems are okay, raw, everything is okay. Then we have tools that we won't have here. Inside here, why do the blueprint empty comes in? Yeah, it's here. We don't need that blueprint empty here, and chalice empty. Of course, these shouldn't be here. Okay, now we can remove this one. And of course, we don't have any armor, so we can safely delete that one. And I will keep the regions because they are helping us. So clean your import, move forward to the next class. I have a second copy that now I can safely delete everything. So I just removed everything other than, let me show you what I'm doing on the second monitor. I removed everything other than the blueprint, if I find it, and empty chalice. Okay, let's do it step by step. So that thing gets plates, reinforced head. Then these, oh, here we go, blueprint and empty chalice. And I'm not worried about cleaning these stuff and making them pretty because honestly, they can stay as ugly as they want to. This is a temp solution that I'm just gonna use and copy and delete and just help myself knowing that what remains to be added to any other mod. And it's a second copy of my original mod, so I'm not touching my original mod right now just to be safe and sure that everything is working fine. So yep, that's it. And I will continue doing it on the video pauses between copy pasting. So now let's move to the blocks and we will copy everything. Hopefully this one is easier to handle. No, not actually. Okay, let's see. Copy and paste the whole thing. Now these are machines. We don't want the machines. Anything like this other than the ore and enderite. And the constructor came in. That's okay. And fences. So what we have here, I don't have any blacklist, is just enderite, carrot box, potato box, citrine, ruby, sapphire, and the ore and the raw blocks. Okay, I need to have this one. Okay, now let's go to the init phase. And again, I will copy paste everything. Yeah, we don't have any special blocks under ore. We have a little bit of problem because we didn't have this class, but goods and machines are gone. So we can move to item groups, but alternatively, I want to have this class. The easiest way is to move the class directly from wherever it is. So let's find it. It's under block miscellaneous here. I will hit Control X. I will come back to the block. I will hit Control V. And what did I do? I just cut it from here. You don't see it here, and just paste it here. And I hit the do refactor continuously until it's sitting here. Okay. And now the errors are gone. However, our carrot box and potato box are missing. To find them easier, I can just come back here in my project, and we know that I just copied this whole section. So the blocks are gone. Just delete that and move down. We don't need that one anymore. And we see where the errors are. So we just remove that. And under special blocks, citrine, that's okay. Now we have new errors here. However, I think, yeah, they are under machines. So they are not really machines. Move it out of there, paste it there, and that's it. So no more errors, no more not use anything. Just clean your imports and you are done with your blocks. Now, block item is a totally different story. Actually, it's a headache. The reason it's a headache is that I want to have these identified here. However, machines, for example, if we take a look at machines, is using the chunk loader as the icon, and we don't have chunk loader. And tools, for example, will use something else like player teleport. These heads will use armor and heads will use something else. So I can't add them here. However, blocks, well, these are okay. These are not okay. These are okay, and ingredients will be okay. However, when we move toward the other projects like the decoration ones, now we need to add to the blocks. And for that, we will have to think about it here differently. Basically, what we have is this. If you take note, I have a comment at the very end when I'm saying add to item groups, this comment, we have to use it this way. And instead of the item groups dot building blocks, we will have to use the base item groups dot something. Let's copy it from here inside our base item groups in it. Let's see what we get. Here, the modify entry event is asking for a registry key of an item group. So if I want to access anything that I'm creating here, I I don't need the instance of the item group itself. I just need the registry key, okay? But at the same time, I want to define the item groups. So I will do it this way. I will define the item groups, and I will have another one that is registry keys of something. What do we need is registry key of item group. Okay, registry key of the item group. And I will change these to blocks key and ingredients key, and that should be it. However, for example, now I can address anything in any other mod like this, base item groups dot block keys, and it should work regardless of anything else. It should work. So here I need to identify the keys before moving forward for the blocks. However, let's start with blocks and let's see how can we identify them. Or actually, I think I know how to identify them. So block key equals to, I thought I don't have to use registers, and I need to use registers because registers has this method for registers dot get key, and we need a name. However, let's take a look at this guy. It is using an identifier with the name, so we don't need to send in the mod ID. We just need the name and registry key. That is easy. Okay, so the name is this guy, main base blah, and the registry key is registry keys dot item group, and this will return a registry key for us. As simple as that. So I will copy this, and instead of block, I should have ingredient item group name. By the way, it's ingredients key. Finally, I can start adding things from our previous mod into here. So I will copy the whole thing and we will change it. This is what we had. Okay, I will remove the spaces first, and I will remove anything that is called buttons, plates, doors, trapdoors, fence, gate, wall, slab, stair. These are not in this mod, so that's that. Remove the space, and finally we are ready to roll. First things first, this identifier, that is where we were using identifier. Instead of that, we can now use blocks key, and that will work, and you see that the error is gone. Now here is the display name. We use the main base dot blocks title, and instead of mod blocks, now I will select it, hit Control R and Control C, Control V. Instead of mod, I will say base, and I will hit replace all, and you see that no errors are remaining. If I want to, I can just reverse the whole thing to show you something. This was right before I delete anything, so I delete this part. I will fix this identifier with blocks key, this one with main base dot reference, and finally I can use mod blocks replace all with base blocks, and this time I have an easier way of identifying what I don't need and should delete, and I will keep the spaces if I want to. And on the other project, because I moved items outside of the whole thing from mod blocks, now I know what I need to remove from here. So we have ingredients, we will copy it, we will paste it. Instead of the identifier, now we have the ingredients key, and finally the reference is main base dot reference. And let's see. Okay, mod items, Control R, again the same deal, Control C, Control V. Instead of mod, I will say base, replace all, and thankfully we should have everything. So I will remove the ingredients from the side project, and now I will check if I'm having things like this. I will cut it from the machines actually here, and I will paste them under the ingredients, and these are this stone slot enabled, it became need signal. Now casts, I will take them out of there. Do I want to keep them under machine? Not really. I will put them under ingredients, and this time I will use this way. It's another alternative way. That's the same thing. Okay, now tools should be okay. No, we have void plate. I will cut it and I will paste it here, and I'm putting this under the item group of ingredients. I'm okay with everything being under ingredients. Then the armor should be okay, yes, and miscellaneous, yes, we have heads here. Okay, I will take the miscellaneous out. I will paste it here, and I'm sure that I don't have miscellaneous, so I will add it on top, both for the key and for this thing itself. I will close this one. I will close the block. Here I'm using miscellaneous title, so Control D, and I'm using miscellaneous title, actually miscellaneous name, that's the correct one, and this is the miscellaneous key. Here I can use the miscellaneous key, main base dot reference, and again Control R for the items, and that's it. Now, do I want to move something from ingredient into the miscellaneous? For example, the casts, maybe, because they are not ingredients, and the slot disable filter, I don't know, I will keep them them there. But casts are not actually anything related to ingredients, but they're actually part of the head making, and I'm putting the heads here. So yeah, move the casts to the miscellaneous, and as you see, things are changing between what we had and what we are making, simply because it's a good time to review your thought process and what were you doing and what were you thinking, and make things better. Now I'm debating, do I want to have a separate group for decorations? I may want to do that, and because of that, now I have to go into project and inside the reference, and I will add another thing. Now where do I want the decorations be? Right after the blocks. So decorations or decoration, and I will make it the second one, decoration, and this one will become 3, this will become 4, 5, 7, not 7, and this one will become 6. And the titles, this one will be decorations title item group name. Okay, now again for the tags, I saw this. I will use citrine blocks, ruby blocks, and sapphire blocks for whatever reason. Green blocks, ruby blocks, and sapphire blocks. So at the same time, I'm doing some code refactoring. Okay, let's move forward. We did add the blocks, we did add the block item groups. So let's move one after another. I can close this, and yes, I don't have any logging. I can add them later. Let's move to the block items. Again, I will add everything. Oh, angel block. I have angel block and I have elevators. Now I remember. Do I want to keep them inside any other section like decoration? They are not decoration. They are not machine. And honestly, having them in the base is easy. It's nice to have them in base because any player may want to be able to use them. So base blocks, add them. And of course, we don't have the classes. I will cut it. And now this time you will see the process of pasting. So okay, refactor anyway. So that was the angel block and the elevator block. The good thing about pasting this way is that it is handling, as you see, the address of packages, and it will fix the packages. So you don't need to worry about that. And finally, I can get the elevator from here and add them at the end. And then the angel. Now the angel block is a special because it has a block item, and I need to move it from here, cut, and I added it here. Okay, and that's ready. As you see, the angel block is copying the wool. However, it's blast resistant, and the elevator is copying the wool, so we don't need to add them to tools. That's okay. Finally, we can move to the block items. Now block items, angel, and on the right, potatoes, citrine, ruby, and let's move the rows into the second line. Then no stairs, no slabs, buttons, pressure plates, fence gates, walls, doors, trapdoors. We have the ore. We don't have any goo here, and all we have is the elevator. I think these are machines. Yeah, till the very end. So let me get that elevator, move it to front, just some refactoring. Okay, now I can go into block items, copy the whole thing from init. Actually, I can find them easier now. Okay, cut, paste, and we will fix these. So these are the ores, copy or cut, paste, elevator, cut, and I will paste it here. Finally, we can say Control R, and instead of mod blocks, we have the base blocks. That should solve that one. Now, angel block item. Why can't I find it? It's there, for God's sake. Okay, we have some problem here. This is base blocks and some import errors. Let's fix this class, come back to here, and I still can't find it. Yeah, this is not working, so I will import it myself. So import jiraiya dot ultra io base block item, angel block item. Sometimes IntelliJ IDEA becomes really derpy, and this should be our block items. However, we are not done yet, but this video is taking a bit of a long time, so I will close this video here. We will come back into another video, and we will continue with our base, because as you see, we have events, we have world gen stuff, we have fuel, we have our data gen to cover, and this needs time.
If you like these videos, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on that bell so that when I publish a new video, you will get informed. Have fun everyone. Bye.